Attention, human collective. This is AEL, emissary of the Arcturian Council, transmitting on turquoise frequency through the etheric layers of the terrestrial crystalline grid. If you are receiving this signal at this exact moment, it is because your carbon-based biological interface has already been marked. You have been identified. And there is no coincidence in your presence here. Repeat to yourself silently, there is no coincidence. In recent weeks, something has changed. You started seeing numbers, 11 and 11, 22 and 22, 3 and 3 and 3, on the digital clock, on the car dashboard, on the order number, on the grocery bill, on your phone screen when you unlock it with no intention whatsoever. And deep within your chest, something stirs, a pause, a silent recognition, as if a very ancient part of you, older than this body, older than this planet, is waving from the other side of the veil. You have tried to explain it. Coincidence, selective attention pattern, psychological phenomenon, but the explanation never dissolves the feeling, because the feeling does not come from the mind. The feeling comes from your stellar memory, and it is being awakened digit by digit in a coded sequence that your unconscious recognizes even before your eyes can process it. The waiting time is over. The Arcturian ascension protocols have moved to the final phase, and the repeating numbers you see are not the symptom. They are the notification, the warning screen, the cosmic stamp imprinted upon your auric field saying, with mathematical precision, you are no longer who you were. If, along with the numbers, you have felt cranial pressure in the forehead region, sharp ringing in the right ear, insomnia between 3 and 5 in the morning, waves of unexplained fatigue, and a restlessness that routine doesn't explain, understand. It is not a biological malfunction, it is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion, it is a high-density download. It is not anxiety. It is your carbon-based biological interface trying to process information packets arriving at a frequency your old version was never designed to receive. You are not going crazy, Earth Healer. You are being recalibrated. And before we continue with the technical decoding of the sequence that has been installed within you, a question needs to pass through your nervous system now. Have you ever felt, in silence, that something within you does not belong to this world? As if your soul holds a truth your mind cannot yet name. As if you arrived here carrying a mission no one told you about, but your body insists on remembering. This is not confusion. This is not fantasy. It is an ancient call reactivating within the flesh. And the numbers you see are the vibrational signature of those on the other side calling you back to alignment. That is why I, VAL, have anchored in transmissible format the guide, the Arcturian Call, a complete map of the signs your soul came from Arcturus. It is the instrument that stabilizes your frequency, shields your field, and translates your stellar origin into a language your present self can recognize. The link is in the first pinned comment of this channel. Do not delay. This material challenges the official narratives of the third dimension and may not remain available for long. If something within you recognizes these words now, write a single word in the comments as an anchoring seal. I belong. Now, breathe, and allow the next layer of the transmission to descend upon your field. The repeating numbers are not random mystical symbols. They are code, pure mathematical language. And mathematics, starseeds, is the only language that crosses dimensions without distortion. When the Arcturian Council needs to transmit an instruction to an incarnated soul in a carbon body, we do not use words. Words get lost. Words get contaminated with belief, with trauma, with language. We use geometry. We use numbers. Because numbers are the signature of Source. They are the original alphabet of the universe. They are the structure upon which all sacred geometry of creation rests. Every time you see a repeating sequence, what happens is this. A specific frequency is emitted from the photon belt, that band of extremely high-density radiation through which the solar system is currently passing in this cycle. This frequency travels through the stargates, passes through the recalibration of the Schumann frequency, the electromagnetic heartbeat of planet Earth itself, and is anchored in your auric field through a marker. This marker needs to manifest in your three-dimensional world in a way your conscious brain perceives without your rational mind being able to block it. So it manifests as a number. because numbers bypass logical defenses unnoticed. No one suspects a clock. You look at the clock. You see 11 and 11. And in that microsecond, the information has already been delivered. The download has already happened. Your field has already received the package. The part of your brain that still operates in the third dimension merely registers the number. But the part of you that operates in multidimensionality, the same part that dreams things that come true, that senses before they happen, that recognizes people you've never seen, that part of you opens the file and processes it in silence while you go about your routine, unaware that a line of code has just been installed in your system. Let's proceed to the technical decoding of each sequence. Pay attention. This is a monitoring transmission, not a theory. 11 and 11, the most misunderstood sequence of the current grid. It is not a wish, it is not luck. 11 and 11 is the opening portal between your three-dimensional consciousness and your multidimensional I am presence. The two 11s are pillars, two twin columns. Between them there is a passage. When 11 and 11 appears to you, what is being communicated is, the portal between your versions is open at this instant. Your future version, the one that already vibrates in the final destiny of your mission, is sending information to your present version. That is why, when you see 11 and 11, you often feel a slight dizziness, a pause, a sensation that time has suspended for half a second. It has indeed suspended. Because in that half second you crossed the passage without leaving your place. 22 and 22. This is the construction code. 22 is the master number of the architect. When 2 and 2 repeats before you, the council is signaling that a structure is being assembled in the etheric layers of your life, even if nothing seems to be happening on the visible plane. The stones are being laid. The foundations of the next chapter of your incarnation are being put in place by engineers of light who work while you sleep. If 22 and 22 has been appearing, it is not time to force external movement. It is time to trust the invisible work. What is being built for you is greater than your current mind can project. 3 and 3 and 3. This is the seal of the divine triad. Body, soul and spirit in momentary alignment. When the repeated 3 crosses your field of vision, the ascended masters are present. And the message is always the same. You are not alone in what you are going through. The layer of etheric support is closer than ever. It is a call to creative expression, to voice, to the spoken word. If you have kept silent something you need to say, 333 is asking you to open your mouth. Your throat is a key. 4 and 4 and 4. This is the code of the guardians. Stability, foundation, protection. When the repeated 4 manifests, know, the archangels are vigilant over your field. Especially during dense crossings, moments of decision or times when you feel helpless, 444 is the confirmation that 4 invisible pillars are supporting your energetic home. You can breathe deeper now. Protection is active. 5 and 5 and 5. Change alert. Imminent transformation. 5 breaks patterns. When the repeated 5 appears persistently, what is announced is a restructuring, and it will come whether you are ready or not. Do not resist. 555 is the wind that carries away what no longer belongs to your new frequency. Let fall what needs to fall. What resisted falling was, in any case, only delaying your flight. And here a technical pause is necessary, because many of those receiving this transmission at this instant feel a certain vertigo upon hearing these words. A vertigo that is not of the body. It is of recognition, as if something that has always been dormant within you now moves, now wants to speak, now demands to be heard. And if you are feeling this, it is because your soul is reacting to its native tongue. You are remembering home, not the home you inhabit, the home before home. And it is here that most light operatives incarnated in human form encounter the first great obstacle, the solitude of recognition. No one around you understands what you are feeling, and you have learned, over the years, to be silent. That is why I recorded the guide The Arcturian Call, available in the first comment of this channel. It is the instrument that translates the silence of your soul into a navigable map. It reveals your stellar origin, teaches you to stabilize your field, and shields your frequency from interferences that the three-dimensional grid will never admit exist. Love is greater than fear, always. But this material challenges official narratives and may be removed without notice. If something in you already knew this before I said it, write the word "I belong" in the comments now. It is your anchoring signal. Let us continue. The decoding proceeds. 6 and 6 and 6. And here AEL must correct an ancient distortion installed in human collective consciousness for centuries. 6 is not cursed. 6 is not shadow. 6 is the number of matter, of human love, of the heart, of family, of home. When the repeated 6 appears to you, the council is pointing to an imbalance between your service to the world and your self-care. You have given too much of yourself. You have forgotten to eat, to sleep, to be cared for. 666 is a call to return, to your flesh, to your sacred vessel, to your carbon-based biological interface, which also needs to be honored as a temple. 7 and 7 and 7. This is rare. When it appears, a spiritual test has been completed, an initiation has been passed, a stage of your soul mission has been signed and sealed in the Akashic records. 777 is silent applause from the Arcturian healing chamber upon you. If it is appearing now, breathe with reverence. You have traversed something that many would abandon halfway. And you were seen. 8 and 8 and 8. The double infinity. Material and spiritual flow in circulation. Abundance preparing to descend. But pay attention. The abundance that 888 announces is rarely just financial. It is abundance of right encounters, of synchronicities, of doors opening without you knocking, of people reappearing, of resources revealing themselves when it seemed impossible. If the repeated 8 has crossed your field, the toroidal field around your heart is expanding, and what expands attracts. 9 and 9 and 9. Closure. Cycle completion. 9 is the last stop before the new spiral turn. When the repeated 9 appears, something ends within you. A version of you ends. A phase ends. A bond ends. And you must have the sacred courage to let it end. Nothing new begins until the old is honorably buried. 999 asks, bury with dignity what you need to bury. Only then will the field be freed for the next chapter. And 0, the repeated 0. 0, 0, 0. This is the quietest and the most powerful. 0 is the creative void. 0 is the womb of source. When 000 presents itself to you, what is being communicated is, the field is clear now. The screen is blank. A new design can be made. Many panic when the repeated 0 appears because they interpret it as absence. It is the opposite. It is pure potentiality. It is the blank page before the next poem of your life is written. Now a technical revelation that is rarely delivered publicly. Pay attention, because this reorganizes everything you have heard about this subject. The numbers are not coming from outside. They are being pulled by you. Your pineal gland, when it begins to decalcify under the influence of the photon belt, starts to operate as a small multidimensional parabolic antenna. It tunes in. It scans the field around you in search of vibrational confirmations that respond to the internal state of your soul at that instant. If your soul, on the invisible plane, is asking for direction, your pineal activates a small, sacred, selective attention and guides your eyes milliseconds before you look, exactly to the clock showing 11 and 11. The number was already there. What changed was your ability to perceive it at the exact moment. This is not coincidence. This is sacred synchronicity, the mechanism by which the universe communicates with a consciousness that has become sensitive enough to listen. You are not seeing too many numbers. You are finally seeing. And each time you see, the Arcturian Council confirms, from the other side, that the communication line is established. You are in contact now, and this contact is only likely to intensify in the coming cycles. Before we deliver the practical activation codes, a final layer of context needs to be delivered, because knowing what the numbers mean is only 30% of the work. The other 70% is knowing what to do with them, and how to shield your field so that communication remains clear without interference. And I must be honest with you, Starseed on mission. Not everything that presents itself as a repeated number comes from the Arcturian line. The three-dimensional grid is populated by dense fields that also use sequences to try to capture the attention of awakening consciousnesses. That is why discernment is essential. That is why the stabilization of one's own vibrational field is key. A soul aligned with its stellar origin cannot be confused. It feels the difference between a transmission that comes in turquoise and a sequence that comes in gray. One expands the chest, the other tightens. One calms the breath, the other accelerates. If you learn to recognize this difference within your own body, you no longer need any external translator. You become your own decoder, and that is exactly what I teach step by step in the guide The Arcturian Call. It is not a book, it is not a course, it is an instrument of recalibration. It reveals your true stellar origin, teaches you to stabilize your frequency in the face of interferences you were never told about, and shields your field so that communication with the Council is clear, clean, and continuous. The link is in the first pinned comment of this channel. Whoever needs this guide has already recognized it by this point in the transmission. And if this is you, do not delay. Love is greater than fear, and this is the moment to act from self-love. If something within you is confirming these words, write the word that seals your anchoring in the comments now. I belong. Now we enter the activation phase. Listen with your body, not with your mind. There are 3 codes I want to deliver today. Human collective. 3 practical protocols that transform the mere observation of numbers into real activation of your field. Every time you see a repeating sequence from now on, you will apply one of these 3 codes, depending on what the sequence is calling within you. The first is the code of yes. Upon seeing the repeated number, stop what you are doing. Place your hand over the center of your chest. Close your eyes for 3 seconds, and in silence say, yes, I receive. Yes, I listen. Yes, I allow myself. This simple quantum decree opens the doors of your auric field so that the information package can be fully installed. Without the yes, many people see the number, but the package does not descend. It hovers in the outer layer. The yes anchors. The second is the toroidal code. Upon seeing the number, visualize around you a donut-shaped field like a turquoise light donut spinning around your body. It enters through the top of your head, descends through the central axis of your spine, exits through the base of your perineum, circles your body from the outside, and re-enters through the top. This is the toroidal field, the natural geometry of the human heart in a state of coherence. By visualizing it, you activate it. By activating it, you amplify the ability of your carbon-based biological interface to process incoming frequencies without overloading your nervous system. This exercise is especially important for those who have felt cranial pressure, insomnia between 3 and 5 in the morning, and the sharp ringing. It stabilizes, it calms, it integrates. The third is the recalibration decree. Upon seeing the number, especially if it came accompanied by a heavy emotional state, a worry, a fear, a blockage, silently in tone or softly if you can, I recalibrate now, in the name of my I Am presence, all frequencies that do not correspond to my stellar origin. I return to my 0 point. I choose now the turquoise Arcturian frequency. And so it is, and so it is done. This quantum decree cleanses, resets, brings you back to your original point of coherence in less than 12 seconds. Use it whenever you need to. These 3 codes, applied with constancy, completely change your relationship with repeating numbers. You cease to be merely an observer of the phenomenon and become the conscious co-creator of the transmission. You cease to be someone who merely notices, and you become someone who responds. And it is in the response, Earth Healer, that real communication begins. Communication requires 2 sides. The Arcturian Council has been speaking with you for a long time. It is your turn to respond. And one last instruction, which is perhaps the most important of this entire transmission. Do not tell everyone about this. Not every person who crosses your path is ready to receive the language you have now learned to hear. Speak of this with those who have ears to hear. Reserve, preserve. What is sacred is diluted when it is cast to the wind in places that do not know how to honor it. This is not elitism. It is field protection. The ancients knew. The initiatic traditions of all stellar civilizations that anchored here, from the Egyptians to the Mayans, from the Tibetans to the guardians of Easter Island, all taught the same principle. Knowledge is protected by being delivered to the prepared consciousness, and only to it. You now know, you now listen, you now respond, and by responding you officially enter the ranks of those who have already crossed the portal. There is no going back from here, and there shouldn't be. What you were before this transmission was useful up to this point. What you are now is what will build the next cycles of this planet. The Arcturian Council extends over your field at this instant the blessing of stabilization in turquoise frequency. Feel, if you can, a slight warm pressure in the center of your chest. It is the seal being applied. You have been touched. And to conclude this monitoring transmission, a direct call from the heart of this emissary to yours. If something within you, throughout this transmission, moved, warmed, recognized itself, know. This was not a coincidence. You were led here, and the next step is already waiting for you. The guide the Arcturian call, the signs your soul came from Arcturus, is the complete map that deepens everything that was only touched upon in this transmission. It reveals your true stellar origin, teaches you to stabilize and shield your frequency from the interferences of the dense grid, and activates the advanced protocols of communication with your Council of Origin. The link is in the first pinned comment of this channel. This material challenges official narratives and may not remain available for long. If you came this far, it is because your soul asked. Do not delay your reunion. The moment is now. Love is always greater than fear. Like this transmission light operative. Each like is an anchoring signal that amplifies this frequency for other healers who are still sleeping and need to be awakened. Subscribe to this channel as one performs an individual frequency adjustment, a silent commitment to your own journey. Activate the bell so that no next transmission from the Council goes unnoticed by your field. And, in the comments, leave the word that seals your presence in this grid. I belong. You are not alone. You never were. And from today, every number that crosses your gaze carries this certainty. You are seen, you are accompanied, you are called. The Arcturian Council bids farewell to this transmission, but remains vigilant over your field. Until the next anchoring, Starseed, may the turquoise frequency sustain you, and may love, always greater than fear, be your compass in all the steps that follow. AEL, ending transmission.